We are live with Shisha Central today. Can you guys all see us?
We are live with Shisha Central today.
Uh-oh. Why?
Somebody mute yourself.
Yeah,
All good.
I think it's you, Adam.
No, all good?
Yep.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for tuning in. As some of you may know, I'm Adam from Shisha Central, reviewer from the UK. Today we will be having our first Shisha Sessions podcast. Today I'm joined by Matt from MorningHookah, based in Idaho, US. Faz from Afzal UK, based up in Scotland. Daniel from Shaman Coles. He's actually based in the UK, but has a lot to do with the Russian market. And then we have Mario Novus Hookah from UK as well, but he's a blogger from the Spanish market. So obviously, as some of you may have seen, tough times in the shisha industry at the moment with the coronavirus. So I thought it would be good for all of us to share our thoughts about different markets that we're in. So first off, before we get started, I need to know one thing. So Matt, what you got in your bowl today?
I am smoking a pretty bizarre mix of kind of like a tabletop that I have a bunch of stuff that I've kind of had for a long time that I kind of threw all together in a bowl. I got some Alfaker plum. I got some Alpha Kama grapefruit and lemon ginger. And then I also have some 24 karat from Zumerit as well. So it's a pretty fruity mix with some mint in there as well. It's smoking pretty good though. Enjoying it quite a bit.
What about you, Faz?
I'm smoking some Upsol frozen lemon with some Upsol Arctic Breeze, which is our sweet mint flavor. So it's a nice minty lemon.
Sounds good. And Daniel?
I actually got a house party going on in the other room, but I made everybody Metcalf Pinkman and Daily Hookah, whatever that cream name is. So they're all enjoying it here, and I'm just enjoying a little bit of my Corona.
Oh, you got the other type of Corona. Nice. Mario?
I'm smoking Dark Side like Glitch Iced Tea with Supernova.
Oh, nice and strong. So yeah, we all know what we're smoking. So I want to move on to obviously coronavirus. The big impact on all of our countries at the moment. It's very sad. What's happening to a lot of people. Obviously in the UK market, yesterday they announced that all restaurants, bars, clubs, and also lounges to be shut with immediate effect until further notice. So the way it's affected us in the UK, obviously I've got loads and loads of messages yesterday on my Instagram page from people asking about what setups to have. So I've directed them all to UK vendors. I just wanted to know, obviously, starting off with Matt, you're from the US. So I just wanted to know, are lounges still open there? What's happening in your market? Have you seen an increase in home smokers, etc.? So
It's been pretty interesting because there has been a lot of places that have had these mandatory shutdowns in California, Chicago, New York as well, and then some other smaller areas, even like Boise, Idaho, which is the capital of Idaho. They announced recently that they wanted all restaurants to close as well. So there's been a lot of places that have been forced to shut down and close for at least a 2-week period is what they're recommending as of right now. And then in general, there's been a lot of places that have done like voluntary shutdowns as well, because they kind of, I think more than anything, they know that it's coming. So even if they're not being forced to today, they know that like right around the corner, they're probably going to be asked to regardless. So there's been a lot of places that have done voluntary shutdowns. And I do see a really big increase of at-home smoking. We have a pretty wide variety of the spectrum when it comes to people that like to go to lounges and then the people that like to smoke at home as well. You can tell when there's been an uptick in smoking at home, though, because there's a lot of vendors that are doing these setups for their sites where they're doing like these, bundles where they do a hookah and some coals and some tobacco and stuff like that. So you can tell that there's definitely a upswing towards that because more and more people are trying to sell those at home bundles right now and stuff. So like you can see that the change is slowly happening, and I think it's going to happen more and more over time, especially as I don't know. I don't see this getting better in 2 weeks. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I don't want the Hookah Expo, which is happening in just a couple of months. I want that to happen, and if that gets shut down, that'll really suck. So I'm hoping that this changes up here soon. But as of right now, there has been a pretty big difference in the way that people are doing lounges and stuff like that, for sure.
Okay, thanks for your input, Matt. Obviously, Faz, you're from the UK. I think we can both share on what's been happening here. Let's get to that at the end. Daniel, obviously, you're based in the UK, but your brand, Shaman Coles,
I mean, I just came back from Russia.
in Russia.
Like, honestly speaking, I think the only difference between me and all of you guys is that in Russia, the situation is basically everybody's still in denial. The official position of the government is that, we don't have it or whatever. And a lot of people, like in America, a lot of people are voluntarily closing, but a lot of them, like I was speaking to a bunch of my friends and whatever yesterday, and they're basically going around saying, what the propaganda is going through. It's saying that, oh, it's just the flu, whatever, everything has to stay open. And, so a lot of lounges are still open, and, that's really unfortunate because nobody really knows the consequences.
Yeah, I think, especially from the UK perspective, obviously a lot of them got told to close down from today. But I've seen on Instagram that a lot of them are choosing to stay open, which I think is a very selfish thing to do. Obviously, we have to understand that everyone needs to make money. Everyone has a business. Everyone has bills to pay. But at the same time, safety comes first, not only for us as smokers in the lounge, but for our families and the elderly who we live with. Obviously, Faz, you're from Glasgow, but you have a big input in what happens in London and UK lounges as well. What have you seen from lounges in Scotland to lounges in UK?
Yeah, obviously, the vast majority of lounges have shut as of last night. Last night was their last night. A lot of the savvy lounges have gone down the home delivery route, which is good. At least they get some cash flow still coming in. So yeah, I totally commend them for doing that. There's a few lounges, like you say, who have decided to ignore the advice. At the moment, it is just advice, but when the government cracks down hard and actually enforces it, then they could end up with fines and all this kind of headache. So I think, like you say, they've been very selfish. It's easy to catch the virus in that kind of environment. Not just sharing the pipes, but sitting that close with people. It doesn't take much for you to transmit it onto someone else, and then eventually it could very easily hit someone that's vulnerable. And
exactly.
At the end of the day, you could cause someone's life. Someone could lose their life over this just because you like to go out for a smoke.
So obviously, I've been keeping up with all the events in the UK, and obviously we've seen the home delivery route and collection route. I think it's an okay idea, but yesterday I was going to put up a lot of lounges who have sent me the way their like hygiene protocols and what they're doing. They've sent me all the videos of that. But then I thought at the end, you know what? Why risk it? Why promote something that could potentially harm my followers?
Exactly.
So I decided to take those off my page a few hours after I put it up. Obviously, we don't know how lounges prep stuff. They might send us the videos or try and tell us that everything's safe and sound, but we can't trust anyone. Human error can occur anytime. And I think best bet at the moment is for everyone to buy a shisha from a vendor wherever you are and smoke at home. And obviously, if you need to learn how to smoke from home and stuff, we'll be going through that sort of stuff a bit later in the podcast. But yeah,
DMZ guys are in. I don't know whether it's Voights or who else is there, but shout out to those guys.
Yeah, shout out to DMZ. Thanks for tuning in. Mario, now on to you. Obviously, you have quite a big influence in the Spanish market. What's happening in Spain? Obviously, me and you were in Spain only about a week and a half ago. We got stuck out in Barcelona for the World Influencer meeting. It went on for one day, and then they cancelled it and rebooked all our tickets. It took us about 25 hours to get home. It was a really stressful time for me and Mario. But what's happening in Spain? Which cities are closed and stuff like that? Let us know.
So in Spain now we are like in the same situation as Italy. So everything is closed. Like only supermarkets. Well, tobacco shops are open. If you want to buy tobacco, it's allowed.
Yeah.
But all the lounges close, I think, on Sunday or Monday, and they are gonna keep this closure for at least a month.
Okay.
And so everybody's smoking home now. That's why there is a lot of people doing live videos. And I mean, the situation is so fucked up because there's not enough hospitals for the people who's sick.
Yeah.
But let's see. I mean, they're doing their best to improve the situation. They are building like, how you call this, like improvised hospitals in hotels or spaces. So yeah, let's see. I mean, for now, only thing they can do is stay at home and wait till the situation's proof.
Okay, thanks for your input, Mario. Just wanted to say one more thing. I got a message earlier today on my Instagram from a follower of mine, really good follower, been with me since day one. And they have contacted the virus as well. They got it now. It's their third day. He still doesn't know where he's got it from exactly, but he has been smoking at lounges lately. So this isn't, I'm obviously not going to say which lounge it was or anything like that. That's not right. But at the same time, you guys need to be safe, stay at home and smoke at home. You know, steaming the shisha, doing whatever doesn't fix the problem. You know, it's about isolating yourself by yourself with your close friends and family if they're okay, and just riding this out until it all blows over. You know, I just wanted to stress on that point. So I think we've gone over quite a lot of the coronavirus stuff so far. I think it's good to move on to new products. You know, everyone's at home now. It's time to upgrade your shisha kits or buy your first one. So Matt, let's start off with you in the American market. What new products have released in the past few weeks? Have you tried any? What's the latest on the market?
Oh boy, the American market is definitely doing some pretty interesting things, especially with the ability to kind of start releasing stuff to give some people some excitement to smoke at home. Especially, you know, we do have a very, very large culture when it comes to smoking at home and enjoying your session at home, which is, you know, even if you really enjoy going to lounges and stuff like that, it's a good you know, something to keep up on, a talent to make sure that you're able to do on your own so you can enjoy this hobby whenever, you know, maybe a lounge is closed or whatever the case may be. When it comes to new products and stuff, there's been some pretty exciting things from like Alfaca recently. Alfaca has come out with these new craft brand that have hit really well in the American market. They just released 3 new flavors. They have stuff like tequila with lime. They also have things like mulberry wine. So they're really trying to push the envelope of what they can try to get out to people to try for new and exciting flavors. Other new things, like the American market has kind of really started to grab onto things like tips and stuff like that, which is a very good hygienic type thing, especially if you have like friends over or other people that want to smoke with you. So we have all sorts of manufacturers that are making tips for people. We have this really cool manufacturer called Spire, actually, that are doing these 3D printed tips, which have been very cool. They have all these really interesting different of like shapes and different like designs that they have. They even do things for custom. They have like Pokemon balls and stuff like that. They also have like baby Yodas and stuff like that. So just all sorts of really cool, innovative products in that sense as well. Plus, we have a lot of really cool bowl manufacturers. You know, we have Mason that creates some very cool stuff. They're going to be doing a release just in a couple of days for the new gravel bowl, which is very exciting. Yeah. And then, you know, if you're looking for those new products, especially in times like these, my recommendation would be, you know, stock up on the flavors that you already know that you enjoy, so you have those on your shelf that you can enjoy. But now may be a good time to risk a couple of flavors that you want to take a gamble on a little bit. You know, if there's a flavor out there that you've always been curious about, you're like, I don't know if I'll like this flavor or not. It's worth it to put it into your cart so you have something new and different to try out, so that it doesn't get too boring or too much of the same stuff that you're smoking all the time. You know, if you've never tried Afzal, for instance, and you really want to try that pond flavor that everyone's been talking about, find out if you like potpourri or not. You know, now's the time to figure that out. It may be a new favorite. I don't know. You know, it's one of those things where in a situation like this, go out, branch out, try some new things, because you may find something new in this that is at least a little bit of a silver lining for yourself.
Okay, thanks a lot, Matt. Yeah, obviously, the UK doesn't have as many brands as the US. I've heard a lot of things about the new Mason gravel bowl. It looks quite good. I see it's
Oh,
made.
it's very cool.
The clay of it's made in different sort of clay as well, which is holds the heat quite well. So it'll be interesting to try that out. I'm going to try and get my hands on one. Faz, I'll come to you in a minute. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's made out of this really interesting type of stoneware. It's something completely different than what he was doing before.
Yeah.
Mason shisha ware that they have is a very the clay itself just holds heat very well, and now it's a lot thicker. These are hand thrown, where like the original onyx bowls are actually a cast bowl, and these are hand thrown. Yeah, but they're very, very unique, very thick, very interesting clay, holds heat very well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that people bid over $800 per bowl.
No, that was the Helix bowl that they did at one time, because he was doing like these limited runs where people could like auction and stuff like that. Hopefully we don't see $800 bowls anymore. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff personally. We also have like unique creators like this right here, which is the Hazy Bowl. The Hazy Bowl is another artisan type bowl.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. This is a smaller one that I got. He just did a release today. I would have pimped it a little bit more, but they're already sold out. So if you do want one, I'm sorry, you'll have to wait for the next one. But these are very, very cool bowls as well.
Lucas is with us right now. Lucas, you're going to have to hit me, Adam, Matt.
But with the bowls, man.
Mario, like special edition Hazy Bowls. Like,
yeah.
You're free stuff right
But yeah, so I just wanted to say something real quick. Obviously, we've got loads of questions coming in and stuff. Guys, we're going to answer all questions at the end, so please bear with us. Let me just give a few shout outs. Obviously, we've got 320 Cold. What's up? Shisha Guy TV. What are you saying, guys? You good? Nabs. Man like Hene. What are you saying, Hene? All good. And DMZ. So now, Faz, we'll go on to the new product in a bit for the UK, but obviously, Daniel from Russia, the home of innovative products. Which ones caught your eye at Hookah Club show? Which ones have you tried? Let us know.
Look, I mean, I just don't have the time right now to say what are the new products that came out in Russia, because basically everybody, before any major event like Hookah Club show, everybody puts out everything new. Like it's been like 20-something days since the last day of Hookah Club show, and people are still trying to go over all of the interviews and go over all of the new products that are being released. Me personally, because we had the expo and we had our booth, I only managed to walk around like in the last 30 minutes before it closed down to look at everything. But I think the coolest thing that caught my eye, and it's gonna sound like cheesy as hell, but I really like there's a producer called Plasma, and they do the gel in their bowls. I thought that was something new, because honestly speaking, I don't consider it an innovation when somebody releases a new flavor, or a hookah where the purge is a little bit different, because now everybody's done it. Purge goes down, purge goes up, side, whatever. But for me, that's not. Well, I mean, I'm spoiled, so it's not for me. That's not something big. But the Plasma guys did really cool. I smoked out of it. I didn't really get it. It was cool to see that out of just gel, like just like toothpaste, you were able to get like a pretty like wild flavors. And I saw that DMV was talking about, that inflammatory nicotine causes inflammatory and stuff like that, and people got to go to nicotine-free alternatives. And I think that's something cool and something new that's happening with these Plasma guys, that they were able to come up with something that's apparently nicotine-free. I would never trust like 100%, whatever people say, but still, the fact that they don't have any tobacco leaves in there, it was pretty cool to see that you can just basically squeeze it out like out of a toothpaste gel and smoke out of it, which is pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen similar products before, like Hookah Squeeze, and a few other products in the past who do this sort of alternative paste or gel that you can put in the bowl and smoke with tobacco as well. It's good to see more and more of them are coming out nicotine-free. I personally am not a fan of nicotine-free products, only because it doesn't give me the hit. But for beginners and people who don't want to obviously smoke nicotine, I think it's a really good way of going about it. So thanks a lot, Daniel, for your input. Mario, what new products in Spain? Tell us about some of the bowls and some new stuff that's happening there.
Well, now you're speaking about the nicotine-free products.
Yeah.
Like a month or 2 months ago, the government in Spain, they include these products into the tobacco category. So they have to pay the same taxes as tobacco. So now nobody is selling them anymore because it's too expensive for what it is. It's shit, but since it's smokable, even though there is no nicotine there, they include it in the tobacco. So it's so stupid, but it's what it is. So now in Spain, I think it's very interesting time because in Germany they are about to proceed with this ban on the menthol and something else.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of brands are gonna move to Spain. In fact, we are expecting some Russian brands to come into the Shisha Mese, Spanish Shisha Mese, if it happens. And that's about the tobacco. About hookah itself, I don't know. I mean, we are bowls manufacturers in Spain, but about hookahs, I think there are a couple of brands that are actually made in Spain. It's not like they are from Spain, but they end up moving their production to China. I mean, there are a lot of brands doing that, but they are not succeeding. So about Russia, the Hookah Club show, I think brands are kind of struggling, looking for innovate. For me, the last year was more, how do you say, like more innovative because, but maybe it was because it was my first year over there. But this year I didn't see anything like a must buy or something like that. Maybe the retrofit or I don't know. About tobacco, I was very impressed about Severo.
Yeah.
Comparing Severo to last year was a huge step. Even the booth was huge compared to the last year one. Tobacco is a good quality tobacco. It's not as strong as Darkside or Must Have or DAF. And I think the guys are doing really good. What else? Well, they weren't in the Shisha mess, but I got some VC. And for me, it's very interesting this new custom model that they have the molas catcher in the stem.
Okay.
So I think the brands are slowly moving to this system of having the molas catcher in the Shisha, so you don't have to buy separately.
Yeah.
And I think that's very interesting. That's all from me.
Okay, thanks a lot for your input, Mario. So obviously, UK market, I don't know if all of you know, but we don't really produce that many products here ourselves. We kind of use a lot of products from obviously Germany, from the US, and from Russia. We have a few tobacco brands here, but that's about it. So for me, a product that I want to highlight is one called the Zeppelin HMD by Zid Clouds. I came across it at the Hookah Club show. It was a heat management device with a bit of a difference. It can fit 3 coals inside it, and also the bottom of it has no slits, so no ash can go into the actual flavor. For people who smoke a lot of dark leaf, I think it's a good alternative to the Cloud because it can hold a few more coals into it. Heats up really fast, and I've used it around 6 or 7 times, and it's done an amazing job for when I'm smoking dark leaf tobacco. So if you guys haven't seen it, I'll be doing a video on it anyways. But the Zeppelin HMD, I know a few guys in the States, Matt, have been promoting it as well. Don't know if you've tried it.
I have not. I haven't even heard of the Zeppelin HMD. I'm not much of an HMD smoker. I don't know if it's more of a cultural difference for the areas and stuff like that, but I'm definitely much more akin to using foil, and a Provost is something that's really taken off, especially in this area and stuff. That's how a lot of people enjoy using it, which is kind of like a HMD kind of like hack in a lot of ways. The HMDs that like I'm most familiar with are things like the Cloud Lotus and also the Phoenix HMD. Phoenix HMD is actually something that's made here in the US, so we're very proud of that one. So that's the one that I gravitate using the most when I do use an HMD. But for me personally, I use a lot more just foil and Provost.
Same as me. I'm using the Provost right now. with my mum-made custom. Faz, obviously, just to add on to the UK scene sort of thing. Any new products you've seen? Obviously, Afzal, you got any new lines coming out in the UK? I remember speaking to you a while back, and you were telling me about some new lines. So could you add to that?
Obviously, Afzal also have their own herbal line, which is SoX. It's quite well known. But
SoX was the very first thing that I ever smoked out of a hookah. I went and bought this little cheap one out of this little like miscellaneous store, and they had some SoX herbal tobacco, and that was the first one that I ever tried.
I think that was a lot of our first smokes, SoX.
For us as Afzal UK, it's not a line that we carry, because any herbal product or any tobacco-free product, whether it's steam stones or whether it's some sort of gel, it's all subject to the same excise duty as tobacco. So for us as a vendor, which customer is going to pay tobacco excise duty on a non-tobacco product? It just doesn't make sense. And that's why it's not going to work for us. So we only do our own products, the Afzal tobacco range, which we made as a 2-stage product for the UK to minimize the duty. So all the range was developed by us, for us. So it's all unique flavors. It's not the Afzal range that's sold globally. The Afzal UK range is totally unique to us. So we're lucky in that respect that it's not available in the black market. It can only be sold to us.
Okay, perfect.
Obviously Pan is their global bestseller, but we're trying to educate the UK that there's so much more to Afzal than just Pan. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I've tried a few of your flavors in the UK. I think you got one called, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Paradisi or Paradise. Yeah, that's it. So that's quite a good flavor.
Frozen grapefruit.
Yeah, frozen grapefruit. I like your mango as well, which is pretty good. So Afzal is definitely doing quite good in the UK now.
And also we're working on our dark leaf blend as well, which is Afzal Strong. So we're going to be launching that in the UK later on this year, just because that's where the trend seems to be going. People want a stronger, more robust smoke. So Afzal Strong has launched in Russia already and is doing quite well in Russia. So we're going to be bringing it to the UK.
That's definitely good, yeah. Because in the UK, a lot of us are still on the blonde leaf. Even I was until about 8-9 months ago when I actually started to smoke dark leaf. The UK market is definitely a blonde leaf market. You got your alpacas, you got your Oasis tobacco, and you got your Afzal tobacco and Starbuzz. So it's good to see the trend finally going on to dark leaf. I get a lot of questions from people asking about dark leaf. Obviously, if it's your first time trying it and you're from the UK or you're a beginner, it might be a bit strong for you, but don't fear. Once you get used to it, start mixing it with blonde leaves first and slowly build your tolerance up until you can take a full bowl of it like I did.
Exactly.
So I think that's it with new products. Thank you all for your input. And now, same thing, like I said before, loads of messages yesterday from home smokers, people buying new kits and stuff. A lot of these guys smoke 4 or 5 times in a lounge, but have no clue on how to pack their own bowls, no clue on how to set up a shisha. So I thought it would be good to just go over some beginner tips. You're new in the market. Remember when we were there and we packed our first bowl? I remember mine. I think I still got a picture somewhere of it, fully packed up to the rim, no airflow. It was horrendous. But so let's start off with Matt. What sort of tips would you give beginners right now?
If you're just getting into smoking at home, especially when it comes, the most important thing, you can get any hookah to smoke, you can get any tobacco to cook, you can get anything to smoke that you want it to, right? But the important thing is trying to get the most out of your session so you can enjoy it. Are you looking for longevity? Are you looking for big clouds? Are you looking for flavor? All those different things. My biggest advice or my biggest tip would be just to experiment with your packs. All right. Like a lot of people try to tell you there's only one certain way to pack something. Sometimes don't listen to those people. They don't matter. Yeah. Go out and enjoy the bowl that you pack for yourself and experiment. Try a couple different things. Try to pack it really densely. Try to pack it very fluffy and then experiment with that in the middle. There's really no way to load a bowl if you enjoy it. Just because somebody else doesn't like it doesn't mean that you don't enjoy it. So enjoy it. Enjoy the bowl that you load for yourself. Experiment, try a couple different things, throw it in there and then throw some foil on it and then throw a couple of coals on it and, document how that tastes to you and then change it up the next time that you try it. Also, when you try different brands of tobacco as well, don't assume that the way that the last one smoked is going to be the way that this one smokes as well. mix it up just a little bit. I don't know how many people are familiar with Tangiers that may be smoking in. I know like Russia market and stuff like that has a real big love for Tangiers tobacco and stuff like that. I don't know about the UK, but like that's something that was really kind of it was pushed here in America very early on because it was an American brand that was one of the very first ones that really pushed real hard in America and stuff. And the way that you want to load that, at least when you're testing out and you're trying it, you want to take it your bowl and you want to put it in there, and then you want to just smash it down as much as you can. Get all that inside your bowl and then just smash it all down in there. Do you guys use more of the traditional sort of like Egyptian style bowls, or do you use more of these funnel bowls?
I think obviously in lounges it's more of the old style Egyptian, but for home users it's mostly funnel bowls. So
okay,
funnel bowls in the UK.
You're not gonna screw up too much stuff when it comes to a funnel bowl because you have airflow directly in the middle. That's the important thing to remember when you take your foil. Just make sure that you're making it really nice and tight so that you have enough airflow that's going to go down through the hole, and then you're going to be able to kind of adjust however you need to after that. But yeah, my tip of advice is experiment, try out a couple of things, throw that tobacco inside that bowl, put some heat on top of it, and enjoy the smoke that you get.
Thanks so much, Matt, for letting us know that. Faz?
With regards to setup, obviously I represent Afzal, so I'm going to concentrate on that. Afzal is not a fussy tobacco. Treat it just like you would treat al-fakir or any other traditional tobacco. It doesn't need any fancy heads. It doesn't need any particular setup. It's just a normal kind of medium to fluff pack. It smokes excellent in a old school Egyptian, as long as it's a large, heavy Egyptian, not one of these Chinese style Egyptian heads. Mm-hmm. We find that in a funnel, you end up losing a little bit of flavor. It definitely does mute the flavor down a little bit.
I agree.
Whereas you get full, because all of the airflow is going through the tobacco in an Egyptian. So as long as the airflow, you've managed it well, is free flowing, you'll get maximum flavor. A funnel head is good for home smokers because it's easier. You can't really mess it up. But with regards to keeping it nice and fluffy, so that the air can circulate throughout the tobacco, that's quite important. With regards to heat management devices, any heat management device that needs 3 coals, for me, it's not really managing that heat. But where is that heat going? The optimum heat management device has got to be one that you can have massive clouds with just minimum coal. So it's actually utilizing that heat from the tobacco, from the charcoal. It's not wasting it to atmosphere. So that's something to bear in mind with all these fancy heat management devices, that if it's needing 3 or 4 coals, then it's not really managing that heat very well.
I understand your point. Thanks for that, Faz. Daniel?
Look, my opinion is, honestly speaking, I understand that certain producers and certain tobacco people want to say, make sure that you pack it this way and make sure you fluff it or you pack it tightly and blah, blah, blah. I've always been under the impression that if somebody produces a tobacco or somebody produces a specific heat management device or whatever that you need to adjust to, that's not really the correct approach. Like, hookah has to be really simple. You slap the tobacco in the bowl, you slap a foil on it, or Provost, or heat HMD like a Caloud. You put the coal on it, and then within 5 minutes it's ready. Anything that requires specific dancing and circling around it, it's not really fit the purpose. In Russia, we have 1,000 different styles of doing everything. And we are the market that has the most amount of tobacco, the most amount of stuff, from unflavored. Thank you very much. And unflavored tobacco, flavored tobacco, and everybody does it in their own way. Me personally, I go by the most lazy traditional approach, which is like 99.9% in Russia. I take a box of Shaman coal, obviously.
Yeah.
I put 3 coals. I put 2 coals in the bowl. I put a 3rd coal on top. I just heat it up really quickly. If I need it to be done even faster, I put on the cover, but 3 coals is enough. After 3 coals, it smokes fine. You take away 1 coal and you leave 2 coals in the HMD. We have, like, as Matt said, we're the biggest fans of Tangiers. No offense, we're even bigger fans of Tangiers than you are in America or.
I believe that 100%.
we are the only ones that actually have a Tangiers Lounge franchise. And even in the Tangiers Lounge, I was just at one in Krasnodar, for example. Everybody smokes it in the same way. They just slap the Tangiers inside the bowl. They put on the HMD and do what as I described it. Nobody really, honestly speaking, nobody really like bothers to go through that extra step of adding something or removing something. And that's why everybody in Russia are HMD. It's a combination of just laziness, but also the fact that we universally adapt like our smoking styles. So I know that in Brazil they do it a very specific way. I know that in the US you guys are super specific regarding the tobacco, how it needs to be packed and stuff. Russia, like, we don't give a shit. We just put the cold on it and smoke it. That's why Faz, I was saying, like, Afzal strong, yeah, it's good. And you were saying Afzal is certainly in Russia, it's gaining momentum. But everything that you said right now, nobody's doing. Everybody, like the way that it needs to be packed, everybody are just doing it super lazy. And I think a lot of producers, especially in America or around the world, India or whatever, they need to adapt to the fact that the biggest market, well, in my opinion, the biggest market, they don't really give a shit how it's done. So it just has to work universally.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty much my point.
Fair points, Daniel. Let's go on to Mr. Spain, Novus Hookah. What's your opinion on it?
So I think I have kind of the same opinion as Matt, but I would like to add something about dark leaf. So a lot of people ask me about dark leaf, and they are kind of afraid of trying it because they associate dark leaf with Tangiers. And I would like to say that Tangiers is a completely different thing than regular dark leaf tobacco. So Tangiers needs a very specific way of packing it. Kind of the same thing with the head management. And I would say there is nothing as strong as a extra dense Tangiers pack. So just don't be afraid. I mean, if you want to try Dark Side or Starbucks Vintage or, I don't know, Trifecta Black or whatever like that, I mean, whichever brand like this, don't be afraid because it's not 10 years. And actually, it's closer to blonde leaf tobacco than to 10 years. So really, guys, if you want to try it, don't be afraid. Just give it a try and you will see that it's not the same. But if you still feel some kind of buzz, just mix it with blonde leaf and slowly you will get used to it.
Yeah, I think there's some confusion also with regards to what is dark leaf. They think that, a lot of people, a lot of smokers think that there's just two types of leaf available, blonde or dark. But that's not true. Like there's a whole range, the whole spectrum of families of tobacco leaf, whether it's Burley, whether it's Virginia, whether it's Lataka, whether it's Indian, So, and each of these can be processed into a dark leaf. So even a blonde tobacco, a blonde flue pure Virginia can be, the longer you leave it in the flue, it becomes a dark leaf. So there's families of dark leaf. So you can have some dark leaves that just give the characteristic tastes of the tobacco, but not necessarily the crazy nicotine. And then there's other like Burley, which is a very strong tobacco, that even when that's blonde, it's still very potent. So it's a whole process depending on how long it's flue pure for.
Okay, thanks for that insight. Yeah, I'd like to speak on that a little bit too. Something that a lot of people may not realize, but the biggest difference in characteristics when it comes to blonde leaf and dark leaf is actually the way that it's washed. Curing process obviously has a lot to do with it as well, but the majority of dark leaf tobacco is actually less washed than the blonde leaf tobacco. All tobacco is brown, just so we're all clear. That there is no like black leaf tobacco. Like you can get the tobacco to be black if you want to, but a lot of that is just a term that we've started to use because the way that dark leaf tobacco is made, a lot of blonde leaf tobacco use honey, as the way that it is mixed around with the glycerin and the flavoring, where dark leaf tobacco actually uses black strap molasses, and that's what gives it its very dark color. But the actual buzz that you're getting from tobacco, and Afzal, if you wouldn't mind commenting on this as well, and if I'm wrong, let me know, but a lot of the buzz comes from the fact that it is less washed than our traditional styles of tobacco when it comes to things like Alfaka or Star Buzz. Those are heavily washed, and they're put through a lot of different washings to make sure that it's less buzzy, where the dark leaf tobacco is actually less washed, and you can actually use more flavoring on it as well. So you get a more saturated flavor to it as well, and you get a stronger buzz from it as well.
Absolutely, yeah. With regards to blonde leaf, a lot of tobacco connoisseurs, they don't like blonde leaf because it's actually an immature leaf. That's why it's such a light color. So in the first stage of the fluid curing process, when the tobacco leaf is green and then it just starts turning brown, that's a very immature leaf. It's not developed its characteristic oils and its flavors, and that's what a lot of the budget tobacco brands use. That's why it's a very light color. A lot of the German brands, for example, they use that leaf right at the start of the flue curing process. Mm-hmm. The longer it stays in the flue in the curing process, the darker it becomes, and then it starts getting its characteristic flavors. So with Afzal, we use something in the middle of the process. We don't use a really immature leaf, and obviously we don't use a really mature leaf either, just for our mainstream line. But with the dark, we're going to do that with Afzal Strong.
Well, thanks for clearing that up, guys. Mario, obviously you mentioned about the dark leaf and stuff, but what other tips do you have from setting up the shisha as a beginner, what tobacco to start off with, etc.?
Well, I don't know. As I say, just do your own way and keep trying. I would recommend to always use a fluff pack.
Yeah,
I think it works with most of the tobaccos. So yeah, and I would also say to start with foil, to be traditional, and you can start with using some HMDs or Provost on top of the foil, something like that.
okay, thanks.
But I think we all should start with the foil.
Yeah, so let me just pitch in now and give my opinion on beginner tips. So obviously shisha in the past 4 or 5 years has become an expensive hobby now, especially in the UK due to the tobacco tax. It costs a lot to buy tobacco and stuff. So first off, some people won't be able to afford the high-tech stuff. That's totally understandable. My personal opinion is if you're new to the shisha game and are on a budget, start off with what most of us started off with, something like a Khaled Mamoon, Farida, Shika Hookah. Start off with that. Won't cost you much, about 40 quid, 40, 50 British pounds. Start off with that. Obviously for bowls, I would say start off with a funnel bowl, just because it's a bit more easier to pack. And you'll get a better airflow, as obviously the funnel bowl has a hole in the middle that's separate, so it won't be blocking anything. Start off with that. Obviously Alfaka is Alfaka at the end of the day, still the biggest in the world. Still have some really good flavors. I smoke grape and mint on a regular. Start off with some Alfaka or some Star Buzz, or obviously some Afzal. When it comes to packing methods, just like a lot of the other guys said, just throw it in there. Make sure your bowl's nice and neat. Make sure it's even, that you don't have more tobacco on one side than the other. Make sure it's not overpacked, and make sure it's not underpacked as well. And then when you're using foil, make sure it's nicely tight. Use a good foil.
As Hookah John would say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when it comes to foils, don't use supermarket kitchen foil. It's not very strong. It breaks quite easily, and it does burn your tobacco faster. So in the UK, we have a few brands of foils. So I wanted to go over a few of them, because obviously most people are watching them might be from the UK. We have a massive supermarket called Costco. They have a foil called Kirkland. Make sure you get the one with the red packet. That's the one that works best. You also got SV foil, which is available at the Starbucks shop. It's another good thick foil to use. I know that 320 have just released some foil as well. 320 are a cold brand here in the UK. Their foil's quite good. So those are probably the best options to go with. So yeah, that's it really. Make sure that your grommet's fitted properly. There's no air leaking out of your hose or your stem. And make sure your ball bearing is not too wet so you can purge properly. But that's that's the basics really. I'm going to be doing some more tutorials and stuff.
Properly after every session or before every session.
Yeah, of course. Of another important thing, especially with what's happening with Corona, make sure you.
I gotta add one thing because you guys don't even understand how often this happens. Guys, don't use those self-lighting tablets.
Yes, no quick lights. Skip the step of quick lights. Skip that completely.
Where of my life? Okay, everybody that's talking in the live comments, everybody's professional, but still, I see this all the time. Oh, you know, especially guys, Matt. No offense, but in the Hookah University and the Hookah Unlimited, people are like posting, "Oh, what you guys think of my bowl?" and they put the tablets on it. I'm thinking, oh my days, like you guys shouldn't even be worried about the coronavirus over there. You guys still smoking on like quick lights over there. Use coconut coals.
Well, quick lights have only really stopped in the past 7 years.
Use natural coals, whatever, it doesn't matter. Wood, coconut, just don't use quick lights. That stuff is gonna kill you.
Yeah, it has a chemical so that it lights quicker. Like, don't use that. There's more chemicals in there. Get away from that. I agree.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about hookah hangover, that headache you get the morning after, and 99% of the time that is down to the charcoal. It's carbon monoxide poisoning. Simple. Go to the doctor, get your blood oxygen level checked, and they will probably send you straight to the hospital to be under 100% oxygen. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a big problem, and that's
why Novus. Mario, you were saying what's the new thing coming out of Spain? You guys got the thing called fast cocoa over there.
Yes. I would recommend these coals to light natural coals when you're outside. That's the best use.
It's like these guys are saying, it's natural, only coconuts. And I've seen those. They add potassium nitrate, which is basically the chemicals that you use for quick lights. It's the thing that lights up the coal really quickly. They add potassium nitrate for the coals to light up. That stuff is poisonous to the human body, especially if you do not light it 100%, and you smoke completely out of that. And yet, like their entire marketing is based on the fact, it's only coconut. Like there's I'm not saying that me personally, like I understand what they're doing, but there's a desire for me to tell them, like, guys, if you take a coconut and you light that on fire, that thing is not going to burn up immediately. But if you take potassium nitrate or whatever that you have in gunpowder and light that up, like, that stuff is going to kill you. So, whatever. I had a little bit of rant here, but yeah, my point is do not add quick light. Whatever you do, just don't do it. Go to your nearest whatever store, buy normal coal.
So buy plenty of Shaman coals, right, Daniel?
Buy whatever coal. Honestly speaking, I'm not advertising myself over here, but
I'm using the extra large ones right now, and they work fantastic. Yes, skip the step of quick lights 110% and just go straight to natural coals.
And wherever you light your coal, make sure it's well ventilated. That's also very important.
But I think a lot of the people here in the chats, they already know a lot of the stuff. Or are we just talking about like pure beginners? Maybe we should move on to the a couple of professional stuff.
Go right ahead. Yeah, I was going to say that my other tip that I'd like to offer up is if you don't have a good grommet that's getting a good seal, a very easy tip that you can do that some people sometimes don't think about is just get a piece of paper towel and just wrap it around wherever the grommet area is. And you can slip it right on there, and that's going to help give you a better seal. So if you have a grommet that's not fitting the way that it needs to, if you're getting a little bit of a air leakage through it in any way, just tear off a piece of paper towel, wrap it up around it, and then just stick it right on top. Yeah.
Even if you wet it slightly, that also helps.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, I think a lot of lounges actually who can't get any grommets, they use that technique. So yeah, it does work. So if you don't have a grommet, yeah. But yeah, anyways, adding on to that, when it comes to coal, just like Baz said, make sure it's heated up in a more of an open place. Because obviously, just a week ago, my CO2 alarm went off in the house. It stayed on for like 2 hours because I looked about 8 pieces of coal in my kitchen. So just make sure, guys, you don't want anything like alarms going off and stuff. So but I think that's quite. We've given a good overall.
I'm gonna slowly start packing another bowl, because so don't mind me. You
Okay,
guys,
that's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just going to show you my pack as I'm doing it. But yeah, let's continue talking.
Yeah, let's see the lazy pack.
Let's
Yeah.
after the lazy.
So let's open up some questions now. So I'm going to go through the questions on the screen, and I'm going to ask you guys your opinions on them. So wow, I've got quite a lot. Damn. Let's start off with, okay, one little thing I wanted to highlight. So obviously in the UK, with this corona stuff going on, and even before that, people are saying it's safer to use disposable hoses at home and in a lounge. Obviously in the UK, we got a couple of big disposable hose companies. Shout out to Mazago. They're doing really good things around the UK with getting all lounges and home users stocked. Matt, in the US, disposable hoses a thing? Are people using them?
Disposable hoses are definitely a thing. I think they're kind of a misnomer. They're just like any other hose that you use more than one time, unless you're actually using the disposable hose and then throwing it away because they're cheap enough to do so. It really doesn't matter. Just use good maintenance on your actual hoses. You know, something that we've really embraced from the Russian market actually is like the very slim profile silicone hoses. All of those are completely washable. So like what I do is after about a week of using any of my hoses, I'll just run some hot water through it, let it drip dry out and stuff like that. But, you know, disposable hoses are only going to help you if you actually dispose of them. But if you're choosing to use them more than one time, you might as well just get a nice hose. The one that I'm using right now, for instance, this is a work bun handle that's on top of it, really nice. And then it's just a standard silicone hose that after me using it about 4 or 5 times, I'm going to take it upstairs and I'm going to wash it out and I'm going to make sure that it's clean. But yeah, disposable hoses, some people still use them, but I don't understand why personally.
Okay. Thanks for that, Matt. Faz?
Yep. Another point I'd like to add to that is if you're sharing your hose, we're talking about home smokers here. If you're sharing your hose with others, then just running hot water through it is not going to kill anything. You want to use an all-in-one solution that's antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. Only then will you properly disinfect your hose. Otherwise, stuff is going to start growing on it straight away. So bear that in mind as well. That if you're using it with others, then please do use an all-in-one solution.
Daniel?
I don't think it's in the hose. Like, it's the entire process. You got to consider that you have the water that's stale. People, I don't know how you guys smoke over there, you know, elsewhere, but in Russia, it's a very common thing that before you take in, you purge. So you're purging directly into the hose, and your saliva, your bacteria, everything is coming through that hose, even through the tiniest water molecules into that base. So as soon as you do your first purge, that's it. Your saliva, your bacteria is in that is in the vase. It's called the vase.
Yep.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. You have a disposable hose, you don't have a disposable, it's in there. The entire process by itself is like, I think it's blown out of proportion. Like, the fact that you have a disposable hose isn't going to really change much. It's about the fact that this virus by itself is 3 times more contagious than the common flu, and our immune system is pretty strong itself. So whereas we could usually go to a lounge, Adam, me and you go to a lounge together and we share a shisha, right? You smoke, I smoke. I'm not going to get like my immune system is going to be pretty strong to whatever you have over there. It's just that this specific virus itself is just so much more contagious. And I think, okay, disposable hoses is like a nice way to show that we're hygienic, but, and this is not a popular opinion, the most safest way to smoke hookah in a lounge right now is not to go to a lounge. It's to smoke at home. And you know, I get it that people want to like say, oh, you know, we use hygienic or whatever, we use the steam cleaners to fill the hoses. But honestly speaking, in this situation, the fact that it's never been in the world before, I think we all got to agree about the fact, even though it's hurting my business, like I'm losing money about the fact that people are not going to lounges that are using codes. But I understand that there's a bigger stake here, and the stake here is about humanity's health. And I think the thing that we got to consider now is basically we just got to stay away from lounges for a bit. Smoke at home. That's all going to be stuck within your ecosystem.
Exactly.
But-
Only then do you have control of what you're smoking, and the apparatus that you're using. Because I've seen lounges firsthand where I've seen actual mold growing in the base, but they're giving you a disposable hose. You know what I mean?
I mean, we think about bacteria being like this little 5-second rule, guys. You touch the tobacco, you put the tobacco in the bowl. That's it. Part of yourself, that whatever was in your hands is now officially in the bowl. And you guys are like, no, it's okay. I'm gonna give somebody a piece of plastic to smoke. It's not. It doesn't work like that. So, I think, and DMZ is completely right now. When you blow out, that stuff will transmit with the smoke. So, I mean, we can all say, and I think Mario as well, we can all agree upon the fact, yes, we should use these and these measures. But my personal opinion, and it's really unpopular in Russia right now, is that just stay away from lounges for the time being until this entire thing passes over. Because the more people that do distancing, like social distancing, the more the fact that we're all sitting at home and does this is what's going to kill the virus quicker. This is what's going to let humanity come back to, like, the
Normal.
back to normal. Yeah, this is what's going to allow us to come back to normal. The fact that people say come to our lounges, we have disposable hoses, that's just going to prolong the virus.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah,
Very fair point, Daniel. Mario, you got anything to add?
Not really. That's the that's the issue when I'm in the answering. But no, I just stay away from the lounges now. It's not worth it, the risk.
So that's it with disposables. Let me look through a few more. So someone said, are Hookah John bowls good for beginners? Matt?
Yeah, Hookah John bowls are absolutely fantastic, especially for beginners. There's a couple different varieties. There's the standard one that a lot of people I think are very familiar with, which is like the Harmony Bowl, which is one of the larger style funnel bowls. And then he also has one called the 80 feet 80 bowl, which is a absolutely fantastic bowl for it's a smaller capacity. You're going to be able to save a little bit more of your tobacco. You're still going to have a very long session with it as well. They're all made out of very high quality clay. In the US, we have a wonderful variety of artisan bowls, that I talked about earlier, but we also have just like the standard bowls that you can get on an everyday basis. Stuff like Hookah John bowls are absolutely fantastic. Also, alpaca bowls, which are just some of the standards when it comes to bowls. I mean, if you're looking for a good bowl of any kind, you don't really need to look any further than going to Hookah John or alpaca bowls. Those bowls are absolutely fantastic, and they're going to get you through. And then when you're ready to step it up a little bit, you can get something like a stone bowl, which are just fantastic bowls, really cool and artisan looking. And then the other ones that I mentioned as well. But yeah, if you're looking for a good basic bowl to get you by, something like a Hookah John bowl is fantastic.
Perfect. I would definitely agree with that as well. I started off obviously with clay bowls, but I slowly went on to Hookah John bowls. My favorite one is the Trimony. I use it quite a lot. I'm not using one now, actually. I'm using a Blocko bowl. But I also think that Hookah John bowls are a good way to start off your smoking experience. So, Faz?
Yeah, general rule of thumb is choose a heavy bowl. A lot of beginners and regular home smokers, they don't know what kind of clay a bowl's made from or how porous it is or how it's glazed. But the general rule of thumb, if it's a nice heavyweight bowl, it should burn decent. It should be dense enough to burn the tobacco nice and slowly. Steer clear of these kind of Chinese, lightweight, ceramic-based bowls because they're just going to burn the hell out of your tobacco.
Yeah, look at the walls of the bowls is really important too, because the thinner your wall is, the more it's going to leak out that heat. You want a thicker wall when it comes to your bowls because that's going to keep the heat inside of the bowl and it's going to keep it around your tobacco as well. Something that Russians do, which I think is really interesting when it comes to packing their bowls. I don't know how well we can see it with the bowl that Daniel's packing right now, but they actually pack
the laziest pack ever. Like, I don't care.
It's fantastic. They pack. Yeah. Do you pack away from the outside rim of your bowl and kind of move it towards the middle of your bowl a little bit?
None of that stuff.
None of that? Okay. Well, that's something that I've seen.
We have a guy called Slavik Kalyanny Master Tvoi Mamy, the hookah master of your mom. This guy has a thing where he packs the tobacco. If you search his Instagram right now, It's called Olympic Bear. He packs all the tobacco and he puts a hot coal on top of it, just directly. We even have a thing where we put coals on top of the tobacco, no HMD. Guys,
That's like old school smoking right there.
yeah,
That's
Zagul.
Zagul. Yep.
Yeah, we don't care. The only thing I was going to add to regarding Chinese bowls, regarding silicone bowls, it all depends on the tobacco that you smoke. If you have really, really light tobacco, having thick bowls, forget about it. It's the equivalent of like adding some super strong power to like adding the best petrol to an electric engine. That's not going to work. You got to make sure that if you have some really, really strong tobacco that needs a lot of heat and you want to smoke it for a really long time, you got to have thick bowls. If you have light tobacco, and I'm talking about the Adalia, I'm talking about some of the blonde Al-Fakir, I'm talking about some of the Dali or Chabaco, whatever, having a thin wall, having silicone bowls, perfectly fine. You just got to make sure that you don't overheat it. It's not so much about the actual consistency of the tobacco, but the amount of glycerin in it. Lighter tobaccos usually have a little bit more added flavor to it because they wanna up the flavor profile, so they don't use the base, which is the tobacco leaves. So just make sure that you mix and match correctly. If you have really light tobacco, make sure that you have like a lighter bowl. If you have a really strong tobacco, you can use a stronger bowl because that's going to last you. But this is just my professional opinion. Again, most comfortable style that you guys smoke, that's what you guys should smoke, as long as you use normal coals.
Thanks for that, Daniel. Mario, HJ
So,
bowl.
yeah, I wanted to tell you that you can highlight the comments in the application if you want, so we can see there. So yeah, about hookah John bowls, my favorite bowl used to be the 80 feet, but not anymore because I like deep bowls, and the 80 feet are too shallow for me.
Holds and I cannot lie.
So I used to have like 3, but they are all broken by now. So that's why I don't have a favorite bowl anymore. Now I'm just using the Turkish bowl styles for Russian tobacco. Maybe, I don't know, stone bowl for tang. Well, not. I mean, for tanges, I'm still using an 80 feet that is kind of deep, and Spanish bowls because we are focusing on kind of deep bowl, but like 80 feet style, like a small bowl but deep.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm using now, and they are so cheap and the clay is good. So yeah, I would recommend.
Thanks for that, Mario. I'm a bit conscious on time, but I have another 3-4 questions I want to get answered. So I'll answer this one first. Jabir has asked us, rubber bowl with chimney head or not? You know what? For me, UK, a lot of people are using silicone bowls. I'm not going to lie. I was a fan of it probably 2-3 years ago. In my early reviews, you'll see me using them. But over time, I've come to the conclusion that silicone bowls aren't the way forward. And the reasons for that is they ghost a lot of flavor. You know, in the UK, we have some flavors that would sort of like ghost and attach themselves to the actual bowl. So even when you wash it thoroughly, that sort of smell is still there. Obviously, a lot of the China ones have some harmful fumes in them as well. So silicone bowls are not for me. Yeah, lounges use them with the chimney head. So for guys who don't know what a chimney head is, I don't have one on me. It's in the other room, but basically,
it's like an upside down Provost.
Yeah, similar. It has a little sort of chimney shaft built into it. In the UK, a lot of lounges use it, and they call it their HMD. Chimney heads, yeah. My opinion, if you do it on a normal funnel bowl at a lounge, they're all right. They're quite good. I still use mine at home. But for rubber bowls and silicone bowls, I'm personally not a fan. What about you, Matt?
I've never got into the silicone bowls for whatever reason. There was just something that even when it first started to make its way over to the US and stuff like that, there was never like a big push for it of any kind. And I think that kind of comes from the fact that we've always had a very strong market for inexpensive, highly made, good quality clay bowls and stuff like that, especially from like Hookah John and stuff. Like he's been making bowls since 2000 and I want to say like 2008. So like when silicone bowls became like a thing in 2010 and stuff like that, we just didn't really see the big need for them. Like they kind of came and they went. I never got into them. I never was a big fan of them, especially because the majority of silicone bowls are very deep. And there's very specific types of tobacco that I like to use with deep bowls. A Dark Side is a brand that I use with a lot of my dark bowls and stuff like that. Lighter brands and lighter shishas and stuff I use with the really deep bowls and stuff. But for the majority of stuff that I like to smoke, I like to use a more shallow head. So I do not use rubber bowls. They're not for me. And I've never had a chance to really use a chimney. I use my Provost, as I was saying, and stuff, which I know is similar. It's not exactly the same. But yeah, for me, I would stay away from rubber bowls because there's too many well-made bowls on the market to need to mess with that.
At a good price.
At a good price, yeah.
Faz?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of silicone bowls at all. I feel that it gives a very vapey kind of smoke. So it's not really getting the tobacco up to temperature. So all you're doing is vaporizing the glycerin, the residual juice. So it works well for the very juicy tobaccos, social smoke, Starbuzz, etc. It works, you still get smoke, but it's a very vapey smoke. It kind of films you get film on your teeth from the glycerin. It's more akin to vaping than proper shisha smoking. So I'm not a fan. As a tobacco fan, I'm not a fan.
Okay, thanks for that, Faz. Daniel?
Look, regarding silicone bowls, I would advise against. I would also actually advise against using glass bowls as well. They have a really poor property of like transferring the heat as well. Glass is very thin by itself. I'm just reading what DMC says. The most traditional way is just basically any good clay bowl. Any good clay, by the way, from Spain, anything that's being sourced from Spain is really, really good. I don't know whether you guys know about it or not, but a lot of good Russian bowl manufacturers buy clay from Spain. I don't know from what region specifically, but Spanish clay just adds that little bit of extra heat transfer to the flavors. It absorbs much better. So yeah, and there's just so many options at the moment. So if you are a starter, I would say just go for a normal bowl. You don't have to go for the high-end stuff. Any good normal clay bowl is going to do you fine. Yeah, avoid silicone, avoid glass, avoid those fake AliExpress bowls that they sell there. That stuff is going to kill you as well. We just don't know what they have in those.
One thing to add about the silicones, I recently I was in a lounge and I noticed that their silicone bowl was really degraded and it was kind of cracking and damaged, but they were still continuing to use it. That's extremely dangerous, guys. With my science hat on, because I'm a scientist by profession, when silicon breaks down, you don't know what toxins it's going to be giving off. Silicon was never developed to be used like this with raw charcoal. So that's when it becomes dangerous. Once the silicon bowl starts degrading and cracking and coming apart, and you're still using it, you don't know what you're smoking.
Yeah, good point, Faz. Yeah, I've seen silicone bowls at lounges that look like they've been chewed by mice. It's just disgusting. I'm not going to mention where, but
and then the tobacco start going into the pores of the silicon once it breaks up. And what does bacteria need? It needs some sort of food. And what is shisha tobacco made of? It's made of largely sugar. So it's a perfect breeding ground for growing whatever the hell you want to grow. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Mario, I'm guessing you agree the same with all of us about silicone?
Yeah, in Spain, we don't have this issue. I mean, nobody's smoking from silicone bowls, not even the lounges, because you can find a decent clay bowl for a cheaper price than a silicone bowl. And actually, if any of you guys want to have the feeling of smoking from a silicone bowl, just take an orange, cut in half, empty it, pack your tobacco there, and it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same heat management.
Thanks for that, Mario. I'm just going to move on to the next question. I'm going to try and go through these a bit quicker now So again, by Jabir Ali, thanks for sending in the questions. Store flavor in the fridge. I would say a big no to
No.
that.
No.
No.
No, you don't need to do that. All my tobacco is right here on my shelves. I don't know if you can see right there. That's all tobacco just sitting right there on the shelves. You just need it to be in a room temperature type place. You don't want any extreme changes in temperature. You don't want to keep it in somewhere that's going to be 100 degrees, unless that's your climate, mind you, because if that's your climate, then it'll acclimate to it. You don't want extreme changes in temperature going back or forth. You don't want to put in a very cold climate or a very hot climate back and forth, because of the same reason that that Faz was talking about a second ago, is you don't want it to breed anything, and different types of changes in temperature is going to allow for that to happen with the sugar and stuff. So keep it at room temperature and keep it into an airlocked casing of some kind, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that then, yeah?
Yeah, keep it out of direct sunlight and away from radiators and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, keep it away from radiators. That's a good. I mean, I don't know who's doing that, but I agree with that as well. Do not put it next to your heater; just always on full.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Next question. Obviously, the answer is going to be different to all of us because we're in different markets. But best places to buy shisha flavors. Thank you, Hamza. Obviously, UK, the legit sources to buy flavor. You can go to Starbucks London, Messiah UK, Afzal UK as well, and the Shisha Shop. They're the only places that sell flavor legally, I think. Well, that's the only 4 places that I know. Obviously, Matt, you got loads in the States, right? It's going to be a bit.
We have a lot of vendors in the US. We definitely have a lot of places that will pop up and disappear from time to time. I would say that if you're looking for the largest variety of stuff, if you really want to try to find the most profound different variety of stuff, you can go to places like hookahjunkie.com. That's a great place to find just like stuff they import from all over the world as well, which is really cool. We also have like hookahjohn.com, which is absolutely fantastic. They get in stuff that is very specific towards Hookah John. So when he usually gets stuff into his site, it's because it's going to be specifically sold through hookahjohn.com, at least for a limited time, if nothing else. And then one of the largest purveyors of stuff that's sold here as well is also Hookah-Shisha, which is based out of Texas, and they have a very large amount of stuff as well. And they also do some really good sales. And then, other places, we have a lot of places that are based out of California, for instance, and 5-Star Hookah is another one of those. But yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I would say go to Hookah Junkie, go to Hookah John, go to Hookah-Shisha, go to 5-Star Hookah. Those are going to be your best bets to go. There's a few places in like larger towns that you can walk into with like a smoke shop and find a good variety of stuff. But like for me in buttfuck Idaho, I have nothing when it comes to actual sales of hookah tobacco. So I have to shop online for everything that I do.
Okay, thanks for that, Matt. Obviously, Faz, you'll agree with me on the other shisha shops here in the UK, plus yourself. Daniel, best places in Russia to buy your tobacco. Obviously, there's loads of shops. You got Peter Smoke there that I know that are also in the US.
Like the best place to buy in Russia, guys. We sell this hookah tobacco everywhere.
Yeah.
We work with a partner. He owns a chain of small coffee shops, like literally their booths by the bus stop. And you can buy tobacco there at the bus stop and our Coles as well. So it's like, honestly, where to buy shisha flavors in Russia, like it's not even a joke.
Thank you.
I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah.
Mario, in Spain, where can people buy it?
So in Spain, from what I know, it was completely different than anywhere in the world. So in Spain, it's not allowed to sell tobacco online. So it's considered as cigarettes, for example. So there are government-regulated tobacco shops where you can buy it. The good thing is that these shops are anywhere in Spain, anywhere. And if, for example, you go to one of these stores and they don't have, alfacre, you can ask them to provide you alfacre, and they are kind of forced by the government to provide you anything you want. So we are fine because, as I said, we can just go in a store and buy it, but we cannot do it online. It's not allowed. Okay,
thanks for that, Mario. If you do have any questions, guys, please send them in now because we are going to be off live soon. I've got a question by someone. Let me just put them up. So Wasteman X, interesting name. What chemicals can I use to clean and disinfect my shisha setup, Matt?
Lemon juice is something that I use whenever I'm going to be doing like a real deep cleaning. There's a couple of like all-in-one solutions. I've never been into using like soap and stuff like that because for first and foremost, I smoke my tobacco or my hookahs mainly myself. Like 9 out of 10 times, my hookahs are for myself to be smoking. So like I'm not too concerned when it comes to extreme deep cleaning, and I don't invite a lot of like dirty people over to smoke hookah with me as well. If I was, then I guess maybe then I would do like a dishwasher type session with them or something like that. But lemon juice is what I'll use once I do a deep cleaning. I do a deep cleaning probably every 2 weeks. I'll do a real deep cleaning. But for the most part, I'll just run hot water through it, let them soak, let them get nice and clean, and that's usually good enough for me.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Faz?
Yeah, I just use a general supermarket brand antibacterial solution. Just make sure it's also antiviral and antifungal. Use it maybe every second wash.
Yeah.
If it's a hookah that I'm only smoking myself, and try and choose something. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing at the comments, sorry.
And try and choose something that's not very perfumed. A neutral kind of either a lemon scent or a kind of
I don't know who's
kind that's
smoking
not
with
very perfumed.
white vinegar. Like, what's this guy trying to? What's this trying?
Yeah, well, okay.
If you clean it with vinegar of any kind, make sure you wash that really well. I would not recommend using. I just use salt, really big grain salt and lemon, and then just plug one side and just shake it back and forth, and that's going to clean it pretty good.
Great, Daniel. I think you're going to say the same thing.
I just wash it with vodka and then I drink it every day.
That's a good way.
Actually, I used vodka once for a hose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but make sure that the hose is on the receiving end.
No, I mean for the hookahs, I just use
Right
water,
now, it's fine.
Okay.
water and soap, and for the hoses, lemon juice, hot water, maybe baking soda, but yeah.
Okay. Let's go another question. By Pritesh Patel, any shisha shops still open or they self-isolating? In the UK, to my knowledge, a lot of them are still open for now. Obviously, they might be shut in a few days depending on the situation here, but online should still be fine. So like I said, shops in the UK, you got Shisha Haven, they're just for products, and you got Shisha Gear, who do products and flavor, Shisha Shop, who do products and flavors, Afzal, of course, for flavors.
AfzalShisha.com.
AfzalShisha.com. And yeah, you got Messiah UK as well. So hopefully they'll still stay open, because if people run out of flavor, God knows what they're going to be smoking. I'm just gonna guess the same in the US, Matt. All of them are still going to be open as usual. Probably going to be a very busy period for them during this time. And then Spain, I'm guessing the same in Russia. Obviously, nothing really changed there so far.
No, we're fully open. We don't, as I said, nobody gives a shit like about what's going on. Everybody's open, so it's fine. Fly to Russia and buy all the tobacco and coal if you want.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go through the comments real quick.
I'm pretty happy about that when it comes to the Russian tobacco stuff, because I get a healthy amount of dark side that gets sent to me every month and stuff. And so as long as they stay open, that's good for me, because that means I still get some dark side.
Yeah.
You just keep on smoking.
Yep, exactly.
I'm just gonna go through the comments real quick. Shout out to DMZ. Been watching your stuff for a while, man. Great stuff. Love your setups. Love the video editing you guys do as well. It's really cool. Obviously, who else is watching in? We've got 320 Cole, and a few other people as well. Thank you all for watching. I think
that's what we use as well.
Yeah. 320, yeah, obviously, UK, you got 320. Shaman, you need to update us right now, man. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but when you come into the UK market, I know you've done really well on Amazon.
Guys, we're pretty much there. We're in the UK, in the US. But yeah, UK, I think I'm having issues in terms of profitability, in terms of what's Brexit doing to the British pound. There's no issue in terms of logistically or getting it out there. I'm not the Red Cross, I'm not a charity, so I'm trying to make money at the end of the day. And the fact that the pound is going to hell, and it's going to come. It's going to take time. I was more interested in asking Matt question. I know we're going through everybody's questions and whatnot, but Matt, I have this feeling that the U.S. market is for hookah and the innovation is dying, and this is not none of this political. Forget about that. My honest opinion is that the U.S. market, you guys have stopped innovating. You guys used to be Starbuzz, everybody, Blue Mist. Oh, people falling at the mouth. Tangiers, Azure, okay, that's going great. Hookah John Bowls, but come on, what's the new thing happening in the U.S. that you think is personally going to change the world? Because right now, I think we all compete in terms of Spain, their bowls, Germany, how they work in Russia. We don't even have to talk about that, but still, what's happening in the U.S. that you're going to regain your funk? Because I think that the U.S. market is slowly and there were discussions about it on Facebook as well.
I think that. So it's interesting because I do think that the American market overall has started to innovate less. And I think that's partly because there's been so much innovation around the world. I almost feel like this is it's a downtime in a lot of ways, because the things that we're innovating on right now are the things that have already been innovated on before. Like I said, we have a wonderful culture when it comes to tobacco. We have a wonderful culture when it comes to artisan bowls and stuff like that. But it's not innovation going above that next level. Like the biggest innovation that's happened in the US market, I would say, in the last 2 years is probably something called the Relics Ring Bowl, which was a huge innovation, something completely different, unlike anything that we've still yet to see somebody try to copy in any way. The Relics Ring Bowl was a bowl that has a clay top part. Let me grab it real quick. It's right behind me.
Because I saw recently on Instagram, B2, the producer, just recently said, the first stainless steel hookah in the US. I'm thinking stainless steel. Hello, that's 5
That's
years.
the thing, is that we have not grabbed onto those same sort of mentality of a lot of other markets and a lot of other engineering practices that a lot of other cultures have been doing for such a very long time. The Relics Ring Bowl, this is a true innovation when it comes to actual bowl pioneering. This bowl right here is the bowl by itself, and then this is the Relics Ring. And you load your tobacco like you normally would. You put your tinfoil on it, and then you place this on top of it, which then you're able to cut the extra amount of tinfoil away from the top of it, and you're getting to see the actual beauty of the bowl. This is the type of innovation that we don't see in anywhere else, and nobody's even tried to copy this yet because I believe it's not the easiest thing to try and do on a large scale of any kind. But sadly, this bowl right here, this is one of about 12 in the entire world, because it was something that happened and then it just disappeared, and hopefully it comes back again, because the innovator, the person that's behind it, is somebody that cares about it a lot, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of just
his name
all
Daniel?
that stuff. No, the guy that made this one is actually, his name's Kyle Smith, who is the innovator of this. And it is just such a cool, novel idea, and it's true innovation in terms of actual bowl production. But when it comes to the innovation, when it comes to hookahs, the reality is other markets can do it at a quicker and a cheaper capacity than the American market can. The one beautiful thing about America, I'm going to go ahead and put on my little American hat at the moment and say that, we make some of the greatest things in all the world, but we're also really expensive. And that expense gets put onto our people that are buying the products, and then it gets pushed on to the consumer as well. So we can't do it at the fair prices that we see happening around. So it limits us on that type of innovation, in my opinion. We see innovation when it comes to hookahs from people like Aeon with the Vero hookah, for instance, which is a really cool, innovative, small form hookah that is easy and travel compatible and stuff like that. We see it with a lot of other manufacturers that are going from Germany to Russia, China, even, for a lot of stuff. But in the American market itself, the Vero hookahs, I love mine. It's a fantastic hookah. And I think the biggest reason why you're not seeing the innovation out of the American market like you used to is we have so much innovation happening around in all the other markets as well. I think that it's a downtime when it comes to innovation, but we still have the things that are true to the American hookah scene, which are the tobaccos, which I'm not going to say that the American tobacco is better than any tobacco in the world. I think Dark Side is absolutely fantastic, but I do think things like Tangier's, Trifecta, Azure, Eternal Smoke, which is something that's come new to the American market, like we do have some very positive things. Medwa tobacco, those things are still very strong in our community and stuff like that. But when it comes to true innovation, I think that we are in a down part of it because we are looking at the Russian scene, the German scene, all these other areas of the world, and we're enjoying the products that they're making so much that it's giving us time to almost recoup. And I do believe that within the next year to 2 years, we will see some very cool stuff out of the American market. Hopefully, as soon as things like stainless steel become more affordable. I mean, we look at B2, who's getting ready to do the very first production in the US of a stainless steel hookah, something that's been done forever in the Russian market. Like that is just the mainstay. Like nobody makes aluminum pipes in the Russian market. They all make stainless steel. But with somebody taking the first step, it allows them to eventually be challenged as well. And then it's going to allow people to innovate upon that, in my opinion. So we need more people to take that first step, which I think that there's a lot of fear in the American market. And that's causing some of that. We need people to take that first step so that others can also follow behind them. So that's what I kind of feel about that.
Interesting.
Very cool, Matt. Thanks for summing that up. I'm just going to go. We got one more question. I think it's a bit more for me and Mario. It's by our good friends 320 Cole. Anything from Barcelona day one you can share? So Barcelona, there was an event there organized by Shisha Meze, who are known for their worldwide Shisha expos and stuff. Me and Mario were kindly invited, as well as I think another 20 or 25 bloggers and suppliers as well. We were a bit unsure whether to go or not due to the coronavirus crisis, but me and Mario took the leap of faith and went over to Barcelona. We got there on the first day. It was really good. We had a massive mansion. They rented out this massive villa with like 20 rooms, a swimming pool, basketball court, everything. It was like living like a king, and we had about 20, 30 staff looking after us, packing us bowls. We all have got our own Wooka shishas with our own branded mouthpieces. It was really good. First night went well. Met with a lot of big bloggers from around the world, from Germany, from Brazil, from Spain, from Czech Republic and stuff like that. So we met a lot of people. At the end of the first night, a few of the Spanish bloggers were a bit worried with borders of Catalonia, which is Barcelona, getting blocked off for them. So they kind of really wanted to leave just in case they couldn't get out of Barcelona. We were then informed that it was our own decision if we wanted to go or not. Me and Mario decided to stay and take the risk. We thought, okay, we're just in the UK, it's not that far. Let's take the risk. They probably won't close borders for another few days. So we stayed. A few people left, unfortunately. And then the next day when we came down for breakfast, on the second day, which was supposed to be a day where we were testing new products and tobaccos, the organizer informed us that he thought that it would be clever for us to just leave now. So he rebooked all of our tickets, sent us back to our countries, and they're going to reschedule the show once this corona stuff dies down. But it was a bit of a disappointment. Obviously, there was a few good tobacco brands there. You had Albadia there. So yeah, it was a bit sad. Me and Mario ended up taking around 25 hours to get home. We're supposed to go direct flight to London, but that was cancelled. So we had to take a flight via Lisbon. Got stuck in Lisbon because our connecting flight messed us over. Stayed in Lisbon, thought we'd go for a smoke, but everything was closed there. So yeah, it was a mission to get back, but we got back safe, thank God. Me and him don't have corona, so thank God. I hope so. So yeah,
corona.
Great concept.
Well, when Shisha Mesa gets rescheduled and stuff, you're gonna let them know about MorningHookah, right?
Of course, man. Of course. I think the thing is, it wasn't something where it's like the best bloggers or anything like that. It was just like bloggers who they had previous relationships with. So obviously for the next one, I don't know how many bloggers they're going to invite, but there was 28 or 30 for this one. But about 7 of them dropped out before the show even started, and then a lot of them left on the first day. So yeah, I'll definitely let them know about you, Matt, and a few other bloggers around the scene. I was representing the UK, but there was lots of other Spanish bloggers and US. I don't think we had any US bloggers, to be honest.
That'd be perfect for me to come because I'm, from the US.
No, I'll definitely speak to the organizers next time I touch base and let them know about MorningHookah. But yeah, that's it really. That's what happened in Barcelona. But yeah, Mario, you want to add anything to that?
No, not really. I think you explained very well. So, I mean, I've been in this kind of events. I mean, not organized by Shisha Messe, but from Adalia. And it's a great experience. And it's nice to see how brands are focusing on this kind of events, on visiting factories and stuff, not just focusing on, hey, I give you this sample, please make me a review, and that's all.
Yeah.
So I think brands are slowly trying to do new things for promoting their brand, and I think it's good.
Yeah. Just gonna go with one more question, then we're all done because I'm conscious on time.
I really like the format. I think this is a good test format, but it's good. Like we're all coming from different areas, and we're all coming from different places, and we all have something to put in. I think we can definitely continue this. Adam, great job on organizing it all today. I mean,
thank you, man. Thanks for the.
And I think, yeah, for sure. Like, sorry, like one more question. But I'm just saying, I'm personally really enjoying this format, not because I had a little bit of drink, but because I really like hearing what everybody is up to saying. By the way, you guys were commenting on my lazy pack. Like, guys, this is the Russian style. Here, look, 3 coals, HMD, Shaman bowl, and it smokes perfectly. And you know what? None of this dancing around with foil. No.
Just one more thing, guys. Last question, and then we're off. So, any contact for a mouthpiece company to make a tailor-made mouthpiece with affordable prices? I am aware of a few. I'm actually going to get some in for my followers and give them away for free due to what's happening at the moment. Sorry if I pronounce this wrong, but there's a Russian company called Mudstuck. If anyone wants to know it, just message me on Instagram. I'm probably pronouncing that very wrong, but they do like normal rubber mouth tips for affordable prices.
Yeah, look at this mouth. This is the mouthpiece that Munchtukov made me. It's the 31 mm. This is what I was saying, Matt. You know what these guys do? They take 3D printers, they plastic, and they put a fucking silicone hose through it, and that's it. I even have one of the. I think I gave it to somebody from the Adalia team, the guy that does like this sign with the 3D.
Oh
yeah.
And think about it. This guy's making money. He does. He takes 3D prints and puts the silicone hose through it. Why are things happening? You know, that's what.
Yeah. So in the American market, we do have somebody that's actually very innovative when it comes to 3D printing. He's actually getting ready to do his first batch of 3D printed hookahs that are like large style normal hookahs. He actually just did a stick-based hookah. It's from a company called Spire Hookah, and they actually make these 3D printed mouthpieces. And if you're looking for something that is custom made, it's the same sort of thing that Daniel was just talking about right now. But you can find them on Instagram, just Spire Hookah. This is one of the very first ones that he ever actually made. But he also does things like Pokeballs. He also does things like Baby Yodas from that Disney show and stuff like that. And he can make anything. Yeah, they're very cool. They're very neat.
You should make it like a coronavirus edition. I'd love to smoke out of like a
ball.
Acid green, like the emoji, like an acid green, like coronavirus. Like, hey, once you have that on, you know, anybody in the lounge, nobody's gonna take your hookah.
No one's gonna share with that one exactly.
Yeah, I got coronavirus.
In the UK, we don't really have someone making them here. Most of them, again, are from China or Russia. But I'm definitely gonna find out some more details for you guys for custom mouthpieces. Mario. In Spain, I know there's one company I know who've actually sent me one. Origin, they've sent me a mouthpiece before, which is quite handy. Any other brands out there?
Well, in Spain, it's very common, this 3D printing mouthpiece. I mean, it's like everywhere. They are cheap. I don't really like them, but yeah, it's very affordable. You can make any shape you want. I mean, even bloggers in Spain, they are making with their own logo and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to know about or any of these companies, just message me and I will send you some.
I'm so happy that this is like, I finally see the face behind Novus, Afzal, Shaman. It's cool that we're such a big community, you know, like, and still, you know, I think it's kind of ironic that this coronavirus is the thing that connected us the most. I don't know. My opinion.
True,
I
true.
think it's cool.
So someone said, Mose mouth tips. I am more than sure Shisha Haven UK sell them here in the UK. So I've seen them. They look pretty cool. Haven't tried one personally, but yeah, those mouth tips look pretty good. Guys, I'm sorry to say, but this is going to be the end of our live. I just want to give a big shout out to Matt from MorningHookah, Faz from Afzal UK, Daniel from Shaman Colds, and Mario from Novus Hookah. I really appreciate you guys coming on the live. It's been a long time coming, but I think it's gone really well, and I'll be doing this more on a weekly basis now, I think, bringing in people from all around the world to talk hookah. And yeah, so if anyone wants to be involved, whether you're a UK reviewer, Brazilian reviewer, or just an enthusiast in general, or a brand, just hit me up on my Instagram, Shisha Central, and I'll be more than happy to feature you in the next podcast. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you found this informative. Please let me know.
I love this.
Huh?
Thank you for inviting us. This was a really
No worries. It's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
So this is going to be available on my YouTube, hopefully, if I know how to save it properly. So guys, make sure you watch it, and yeah, send me in some feedback on what you thought on it, or thought of it. And yeah, cool. We're out, guys. See you later.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.